There are some real kung fu masters out there, folks who trained hard, earned respect, got famous, and made a fortune doing what they love. But let's be honest, for every legit martial artist, there's a clown in a bathrobe claiming he can stop a punch with his mind. These are the con artists who cook up ridiculous tricks to get attention, and somehow, some people still fall for it, even when it's clearly all smoke and mirrors. Today we're diving into the wild world of fake kung fu masters exposed on TV. And before we jump in, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's get into this madness. This dude from China somehow convinced a crowd that he was a martial arts master with actual superpowers. But let's be real, it takes 2 seconds to realize the guy's just a walking scam with a dramatic flair. No way people are watching this bargain bin cosplay and thinking it's an actual fighting technique. Come on. He claims to channel life energy at his opponents, but to prove it, he brings in a group of students who are clearly better at flopping than fighting. It's less martial arts, more community theater gone wrong. Honestly, it's like watching a bad improv class where everyone's assignment is to fall over dramatically. Like the saying goes, every day a genius and a sucker leave the house. When they meet, the sucker calls him master. So there's this guy named Tom Cameron who says he's mastered several forms of martial arts and developed a special technique that lets him knock people over without touching them. Yeah, he even had his student demonstrate it on TV. What followed looked like a blooper reel from a low-budget fantasy movie. One girl channels her invisible energy while Tom takes a theatrical fall like he slipped on a banana peel. And there's another guy who was supposed to help, but he couldn't even hold his role together. I honestly can't tell what's more impressive, Tom's ability to fake this nonsense with a straight face, or the fact that people are actually lining up to pay for these Jedi mind tricks. You can't make this stuff up. This guy went viral, not because of his skills, but because of his bizarre kung fu dance routines. His name's Choryuk, a Russian dude who looks like he's made of bones, caffeine, and chaos. He claims to be a kung fu master and proves it by punching a heavy bag while doing what looks like ballet, fused with interpretive twitching. It sounds insane, and it is. But here's the wild part, people actually follow him and try to learn his style. His classes are even more ridiculous than his solo performances. Watching them feels like you stumbled onto a martial arts themed sketch comedy show. Any serious fighter wouldn't give this guy the time of day. It doesn't look like kung fu, it looks like a Wi-Fi glitch in human form. Kung fu may be inspired by animal movements, but in his case, it's more like the noise animals make when they're stuck in a trap. Back in 2016, during a military parade in Iran, a soldier tried to impress the crowd by smashing a ceramic vase with his bare hands. He failed. Not once, not twice, but 3 awkward, embarrassing times. All while his fellow soldiers, news crews, and top government officials looked on. Then another soldier jumped in to help, throwing punches and kicks like he was fighting for his life. But the vase didn't even crack. They eventually gave up, defeated by a regular old piece of pottery. The silence that followed, you could hear the shame echoing off the walls. That video made the rounds online fast, and some say the vase was promoted to general for its unmatched resilience. Most legit action stars spend months learning martial arts before filming fight scenes, but clearly that wasn't the case in this audition. It started when a production company put out a casting call for actors who knew Kung Fu, but instead of trained fighters, they got a whole circus of delusional amateurs. The first guy walked in with more confidence than skill. He thought Kung Fu was just flailing one arm and yelling a word over and over. He looked like a possessed inflatable tube man. Hey! Then they gave him a mannequin to demonstrate his moves, and it somehow got worse. You'd think he was a guaranteed no-go, but then you see the other contenders. One dude tried a fancy flying kick and ended up body slamming the floor. He lost a fight to a plastic dummy. Years later, a producer found the old audition tape in storage and uploaded it. It went viral instantly, racking up millions of views. None of these folks made it into the movie, but hey, they became legends on the internet. And that's a kind of fame too. This is Yanagi Ryukin, an elderly man who claims to be an Aikido master. He says a monk taught him a secret technique to defeat anyone without physical contact. In demo after demo, he stands in a room while students charge him and fall like they've hit a force field, even though he barely moves. It looks less like martial arts and more like a synchronized feigning competition. Sometimes he even offers cash to anyone who can beat him in a fight. Of course, with these psychic battles, it's easy to win when no one's actually allowed to hit you. I'd love to see him square up with a real fighter and see how long that imaginary shield holds up. No matter how good you are, you should always think twice about who you pick for a live demo. Case in point, this legendary moment aired on live TV. A martial arts master was ready to show off his inner energy by lifting his assistant, who was clearly built like a tank. But reality had other plans. Instead of an impressive display of power, the guy ended up flat on his back in a gloriously awkward fall. People rushed over to check if he was okay, and the best part, it all aired live. Just imagine sitting at home expecting to see ancient kung fu secrets, and instead you get served a straight up blooper moment in high definition. Ever heard of this gem from the fighting world? It's called Russian Slap, and yeah, it's as weird as it sounds. Straight from Russia, this so-called martial art is a chaotic blend of kung fu inspired moves mixed with pure nonsense. The results are hilarious. Instead of looking like fearsome warriors, these masters look like they're glitching mid-fight. From a distance, it feels more like a middle school slap fight than an actual training session, but apparently people take it seriously. They practice it, post videos online, and unintentionally gift us some of the funniest content the internet has to offer. You don't even need commentary. The footage speaks for itself. Pretending to be good at something is already cringe, but doing it live on national television, that's a whole different level. Meet this Greek guy who swore up and down that he was a kung fu expert. Ready to upgrade Bruce Lee's techniques like he was editing a playlist. He got invited on a talk show, and what followed was pure secondhand embarrassment. The host didn't know where to look. She poked fun at him, and next thing you know, bam, she's on the ground. Now, whether that was an actual move or just a lucky stumble, we'll never know. But one thing's clear, if Cringe had a championship belt, he'd be wearing it. Let me introduce you to the amazing master Huint Tuan Kiet, a martial artist who claims he can control electricity with his bare hands. Yes, seriously, all of his performances are painfully fake, complete with students throwing themselves to the floor like they're auditioning for a soap opera. And for some reason, he does all this while wearing a full-on suit. I don't know about you, but if I'm about to demonstrate world-shaking energy powers, I'd at least wear something that lets me move my arms. Honestly, he's like a corporate version of a comic book villain, but with none of the powers and all of the embarrassment. Static Shock better watch out. There's a new fraud in town. George Dillman was a martial arts instructor from the US who swore he could knock people out using barely a touch. His fame grew fast. People lined up to learn how to KO someone with just a flick of a finger.
You press. Thank you, good friend.
But as with all great delusions, the spotlight brought heat. Serious athletes and reporters started asking questions. One day, a TV crew brought in a random guy who didn't know the routine. They asked George to knock him out. Spoiler, nothing happened. Not even a wobble. The master got exposed right there on camera and disappeared from the public eye after the humiliating flop. Let's just hope he used that time to finally learn something useful, like how to throw a real punch. There was this guy in Brazil named Mestre Lacerda who actually made it onto national TV after becoming famous for his so-called revolutionary fighting techniques. He claimed they were the most effective combat methods in the world, but of course, as usual with these types of masters, his incredible skills were nothing more than a performance. He had way more acting chops than actual martial arts training. His star student was Edson Carvalho, a guy who went as far as challenging well-known MMA and jiu-jitsu fighters. Sounds bold, right? Well, kinda, because several fighters later said they tried to schedule matches, and these guys kept dodging. But when the day finally came, Edson got beat down so bad he looked like a rug on spring cleaning day. And just like that, Mestre Lacerda and his magical techniques vanished from the martial arts world for good. Thanks for sticking around till the end. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you in the next one.